Falling feels like flying right up until the moment your own fiancé laughs in your face. Rain whips the rooftop terrace and Manhattan glares below like a field of knives. Evelyn Thorne hits the railing, breath gone, wrist trapped in Eric Vale's hand. You were never the genius, Eric says. You were the gift. Claire Hart steps close, umbrella tilted, smile sweet and empty. Just sign. Give him the voting shares. You can still keep the ring. Evelyn stares at the folder on the table. A stock transfer agreement. Her signature would hand over her company, her parents' legacy, her name. You moved the cash. Evelyn whispers. You bribed my board. Eric shrugs. They followed instructions. They never followed you. Claire touches the pearls at her throat, a piece that used to belong to Evelyn's mother. Family comes first, remember. I listened. Evelyn's phone buzzes in her clutch, alerts stacking, credit lines tightening. The trap is already closing. You planned this, Evelyn says, voice cracking. Eric leans in, cologne cutting through the storm. You planned it too, when you trusted us. His hand shoves. The world drops away. Wind tears at her scream. The building rises above her like a cliff, and Eric and Claire lean over the edge, watching like it is entertainment. You should have stayed grateful. Eric calls down. Claire waves. Good night, sister. Impact should be the end. Instead, Evelyn jerks upright in bed, lungs dragging air like she stole it. Darkness. Silence. Her apartment. Her sheets twisted around her legs. Her phone glows on the pillow. April 2nd. 3 months before the fall. A reminder blinks at the top. Sign transfer agreement with Eric. 9 o'clock tomorrow. Evelyn swings her feet to the floor and stares at the same folder, the same pages, the same signature line waiting like a grave. She tears the agreement in half. Again. Again until paper flakes scatter across the hardwood. Her hand stops shaking. Think. Eric and Claire are not improvising. The board is bought. The lawyers are compromised. Tomorrow is the final handoff. Step 1 is survival. Step 2 is control. Evelyn scrolls through her contacts until she finds a number she saved years ago and never used. Kane Rossi. In her first life, she had anonymously warned him about a market hit. She never asked for credit. She never asked for help. She only realized who he was when she was already falling. Now she does not wait. She opens a notes app and writes a single line. I do not die again. Then she taps Kane's name and presses call. Evelyn forces herself to stand and walk the room, because if she sits, the memory of falling will pin her down. She opens her laptop and pulls up the shared drive logs. In her first life, she never looked, because she believed people who smiled at her. Now she reads every access line like it is a confession. 3 names appear over and over. A junior counsel she barely knows. A board secretary who always brought her coffee. An outside consultant Eric insisted on hiring. Evelyn writes them down. Then she opens her safe and pulls out the original shareholder ledger her father kept in his own handwriting. She runs her fingers over the ink, over the careful notes in the margins, as if touching it can pull him back. I am sorry. She whispers into the quiet. I was blind. Her phone buzzes again, a message from Eric. Good morning, future Mrs. Vale. Excited for tomorrow. Evelyn stares at the text until the screen dims, then types back. We need to reschedule. Do not come to my apartment. She watches the typing bubbles appear on his end, then vanish. No reply. Of course there is no reply. He is already moving pieces. Evelyn opens a blank document and titles it, plainly. Self-help plan. She lists what she can control in the next 24 hours. Freeze personal accounts. Change every password. Pull security footage from the lobby. Call the board members one by one and force them to choose, in writing. Move her mother's pearls into a bank vault. Replace her legal counsel. Set a public meeting to create witnesses. Find Kane Rossi and lock in protection. Her hand pauses on the last line. She has never asked anyone like Kane for anything. She has never offered herself as a partner to a man who does not pretend to be kind. But kindness did not save her. Power might. The call connects on the second ring. A low voice answers. Rossi. Evelyn swallows. Kane, it is Evelyn Thorne. I need 10 minutes of your time and I will pay for every second with something you want. Silence, then a quieter reply. Come alone. Kane says. And do not waste my night. The Rossi Club door is guarded by a man with an earpiece and a face that says no. Evelyn says. Tell Kane Rossi that Evelyn Thorne is here to repay a debt he does not remember. The guard hesitates, then steps aside. Kane waits in a private room, one glass on the table, no entourage. Dark suit, colder eyes. He looks up like he has already read her file. You are supposed to be engaged tomorrow. He says. I am supposed to sign away my company tomorrow. Evelyn replies. I will not. Kane studies her. And you came here because. Because Redwood Capital is coming for you in 10 days. Evelyn says. They will hit your credit facilities through a shell lender called Birchgate. They will leak a rumor at a charity gala. Your partners will panic. Your rivals will circle. Kane sets his glass down. That is specific. It is scheduled. Evelyn says. I can help you step around it. In exchange, you help me cut off one of Redwood's knives. Eric Vale. Kane says, not asking. Evelyn slides her phone across the table. Names, dates, transfers, the bones of fraud. He and Claire Hard are stealing my company. They will ruin me, then remove me. Kane's gaze stays on her longer than the list. If you are lying, you are suicidal. I am prepared. Evelyn says. I want a contract. Mutual benefit. No romance. No illusions. Kane's mouth twitches. No romance. A lawyer appears, papers clean and tight. Evelyn signs a cooperation agreement with strict limits, then stands. Kane offers his hand. His grip is warm, inconvenient. You will regret walking into my world. He says. Evelyn meets his gaze. I already regret not doing it sooner. That afternoon, Evelyn walks into a Fifth Avenue brunch where Eric and Claire expect her to smile. She does not kiss Eric. She does not apologize. Eric's smile freezes. Evelyn, what is this? A correction. She says. I am not signing anything tomorrow. Claire's eyes shine with fake concern. Are you feeling well? Evelyn lifts her glass toward the room. I want to thank my sister. She borrowed my custom gown and returned it stained. It reminded me to stop lending out what matters. Laughter ripples. Claire flushes. Eric pulls her aside. We can talk privately. No. Evelyn says. We can talk with witnesses. By evening, Eric loses the deal he planned to steal, because Evelyn quietly bought the option first. Clean. Precise. Public. Her phone buzzes with a single text from an unknown number. You move fast. Good. In the car ride back from the club, Evelyn replays Kane's face in her mind. He had not laughed. He had not dismissed her. He had tested her, and she had held. That is the first win. Her next win has to be louder. She schedules a midday meeting with Thorne Capital's outside counsel, the one Eric recommended. She brings a new attorney instead, a woman Kane knows, sharp and bored by intimidation. When the counsel arrives, Evelyn slides a document across the table. Sign a statement confirming you advised me to transfer voting shares under the claim it was standard for an engagement. Evelyn says. The counsel blinks. Evelyn, that is not necessary. It is necessary for you. Evelyn replies. Either you sign or I file a complaint with the bar and name you in the media package that is already written. The counsel's hands tremble. You cannot prove anything. Evelyn leans forward. Try me. The counsel signs. That afternoon, Evelyn meets with a board member who used to call her father a brother. He tries to smile, tries to guilt her. Your father would not want you acting like this. He says. Evelyn answers. My father would not want you taking bribes in his boardroom. His face changes. He does not deny it. He only asks how much she knows. Evelyn smiles, small and cold. Enough. By the time she returns home, her phone has 3 missed calls from Eric and 1 from Claire. She answers Claire because Claire always thinks she can cry her way into forgiveness. Sister. Claire begins, voice trembling. Eric is worried. You are scaring people. Evelyn keeps her tone light. People who should be scared, Claire. Claire pauses. Where are you going at night? Evelyn glances at the charm Kane gave her, warm in her pocket. Where I choose. Claire's voice sharpens. Eric says you are being manipulated. Evelyn laughs once. Tell Eric the only thing manipulating me is memory. She hangs up. A moment later, Kane texts again. Tomorrow, do not be alone with Eric. He will try to corner you. Evelyn types back. Let him try. Then she adds a second message, before she can stop herself. Thank you. Kane replies with one word. Good. The board meeting is called to remove Evelyn, but she walks into the glass room like it belongs to her, because it does. Eric sits near the head, relaxed, Claire behind him with a tablet, pearls at her throat like a trophy. A director clears his throat. We are here to address concerns about Miss Thorne's stability. Evelyn clicks a remote. Then let us address yours. The screen fills with transfers to 3 board members. Bribes. Dates. Shell companies. One director goes rigid. That is confidential. It is criminal. Evelyn says. She plays a recording. Claire's voice bright and careless. I only need the client list. Once Eric moves the accounts, she will have nothing. Claire's face drains. Evelyn flips to the next file. Eric's voice to a banker. Move the funds through Birchgate. Keep it off the ledger. She will sign anyway. The room shifts. Fear replaces loyalty. Eric slams his palm on the table. This is a coup. It is an audit. Evelyn replies. And you are failing it. The vote happens fast. The motion dies. 2 directors resign on the spot. 3 switch sides, terrified of prison. Evelyn looks at Eric. You tried to take my seat. You failed. Eric's smile is thin. You think this ends here? Evelyn stands. No, I think it begins here. That night, she leaves the building late and hears footsteps behind her. A van idles at the curb. 2 men approach, hands in their pockets. Miss Thorne. One says. We need to talk. Evelyn's thumb hits a single button on her phone. A black car glides to the curb. The window lowers. Kane Rossi sits inside, calm as a blade. Get in. He says. One thug grabs Evelyn's arm. The next second, Kane is out of the car, and the street feels smaller. His people appear like shadows. The first attacker swings. Kane catches the punch, twists, and drops him. The second reaches for a weapon and is slammed into the wall before he can draw. Kane turns to Evelyn, knuckles scraped, expression bored. Eric is getting desperate. Evelyn slides into the car. Let him. Kane hands her a thin silver charm on a chain. If you cannot call, you show this. People will listen. Evelyn closes her fingers around it. Why? Kane's voice is quiet. Because I do not like losing allies. Evelyn looks out at the skyline, at the tower where she died in another life. Tomorrow, Eric will try again. And she will be ready. Eric does not retreat after the board vote. He pivots. He files a petition claiming Evelyn is mentally unfit due to trauma. And he tries to get an emergency conservatorship over her shares. It is a move designed to look compassionate, like he is saving her from herself. Evelyn reads the filing with her new counsel and feels the old nausea of betrayal. He is using your false story against you. The attorney says. He will argue you are unstable. Evelyn's jaw tightens. Then we show the court who is unstable. She requests a hearing immediately and makes it public. On the courthouse steps, reporters shove microphones toward her. Eric stands a few feet away, face set in practiced concern. Claire clings to him, tears ready. Eric speaks first, voice soft. I love Evelyn. I only want her safe. Evelyn waits until the cameras settle, then steps forward. Safety is not control. She says. And love is not paperwork. She lifts a folder. Mr. Vale filed this petition while moving funds through shell lenders and bribing my board. If he truly cared, he would not have stolen from my company. Eric's smile twitches. Claire's eyes dart. Inside the hearing, Eric's lawyer paints Evelyn as emotional, reckless, unpredictable. Evelyn does not shout. She does not cry. She simply hands the judge a chain of evidence, each link clean. Bank transfers. Recorded calls. Signed statements from counsel. Security footage of Eric entering her office after hours. By the end, the judge denies the petition and warns Eric against further abuse of the court. Outside, Eric catches Evelyn by the hallway door, voice low and furious. "You think you are untouchable now," he says. Evelyn looks at him, calm. "I think you are predictable." Eric leans in. "You cannot win without someone bigger backing you." Evelyn smiles. "You are right, you cannot." She steps away before he can decode the sentence. That night, Kane meets her in a quiet diner in Queens, the kind of place where nobody takes photos. He sits across from her with a cup of coffee and a watchful look. "You did not flinch in court," Kane says. Evelyn stirs her coffee once. "I already know what it feels like to fall." Kane's gaze sharpens. "You keep saying that like it is not a metaphor." Evelyn holds his eyes for a beat too long. Then she looks down. "Do not ask me for my ghosts," she says. Kane nods, slow. "Fine. Then I will ask you for your next move." Evelyn slides a napkin toward him with a simple list. Cut Eric off from liquidity. Expose Claire to society donors. Turn Redwood against Eric. Prepare for violence. Kane reads it, then looks up. "You are not asking me to save you." Evelyn's voice is steady. "I am asking you to stand where they can see you. The shadow of you is a weapon." Kane's mouth tilts. "Careful, you are starting to sound like you trust me." Evelyn replies. "I trust your self-interest." Kane taps the napkin once. "And if my self-interest changes?" Evelyn meets his gaze. "Then I change too." Evelyn digs into her parents' crash like it is a hostile takeover. Invoices do not match parts. Witnesses changed their stories. A responding officer retired early with new money. Kane brings her a private report at midnight. He sets it on her table like a verdict. "It was planned," he says. "Eric and Claire's mother hired a sabotage firm. Your parents tried to cut her off. The crash followed." Evelyn reads until her throat hurts. "The grief is old. The rage is new. Claire is not my stepsister," she whispers. Kane nods. "She is the affair child, planted close to you, waiting." Evelyn's voice turns calm, which is worse than shouting. "I am going to destroy them." "Good," Kane says. "But do it with proof that survives court." Evelyn packages what she has and sends it anonymously to a major outlet that feeds on finance scandal and society blood. She trusts greed to do the rest. By morning, the story detonates across Manhattan. Eric is linked to suspicious payments. Claire is exposed as a hidden child. The Thorn crash is questioned in public. Reporters swarm the building. Eric and Claire stand outside, cornered, faces tight. Eric sees Evelyn and hisses. "Did you do this?" Evelyn smiles. "Do what?" "Tell the truth." Claire steps forward, tears ready. "Evelyn, please. This is family." Evelyn's eyes turn flat. "My family is dead." Inside, Evelyn's new legal team files motions and freezes accounts tied to Eric. Subpoenas fly before records can disappear. Then her analyst reports a breach. Someone copied her core investment model from a secure server. Evelyn opens the folder labeled bait. The file Eric stole is not her real plan. It is a trap, numbers polished to lure, projections built to collapse. She sends the stolen model down a path she knows Eric monitors, making it look like a desperate mistake. That night, Kane calls. "You look too calm," he says. "I am enjoying the quiet before the collapse." Evelyn replies. Kane pauses. "Years ago, someone warned me about a hit that would have ended me. I never knew who." Evelyn's breath catches. "When you walked into my club and named Birchgate." Kane says. "I knew it was you." Evelyn grips the phone. "This is still a contract." Kane's voice lowers. "Contracts are just words. People are the real risk." Evelyn stares at her parents' photo and feels the trap tightening around her enemies. Tomorrow, Eric will take the bait. And when he does, she will close it. The media storm gives Evelyn leverage, but it also gives her enemies a target. Claire tries to salvage her image with a charity interview, playing the wounded sister. She talks about forgiveness, about family, about how Evelyn is spiraling. Evelyn watches the clip once, then calls the producer. Did you fact-check her claim that she grew up in my home as my father's adopted child? Evelyn asks. The producer hesitates. That is what she told us. Evelyn answers. Then you aired fraud. She sends proof within 5 minutes, including payment records and a sealed affidavit from her father's old attorney. The producer panics. The network issues a correction. Claire's interview is pulled. Sponsors drop her in a single afternoon. Claire calls Evelyn screaming. You are ruining my life. Claire shouts. Evelyn keeps her voice calm. You ruined it the day you decided my parents were obstacles. Claire goes silent, then hisses. You do not have proof. Evelyn replies. I have enough to bury you, and I am not done digging. After she hangs up, Evelyn stands at her window, staring at the city lights. For a second, grief pushes up through the rage, thick and suffocating. Kane steps behind her, close enough that she feels warmth, not touching yet. You are shaking, he says. Evelyn looks down at her hands and hates that he is right. I do not want to feel this. Kane's voice is low. You do not have to drown in it. You only have to use it. Evelyn turns to him. You make everything sound simple. It is not simple. Kane says. It is just possible. Evelyn studies him. In her first life, she would have called him dangerous and walked away. Now she sees another truth. He is dangerous, but he is consistent. Evelyn asks quietly. If I had not helped you back then, would you still be here? Kane pauses. Maybe, maybe not. But you were the first person to warn me without asking for anything. Evelyn swallows. I did not do it for you. I did it because it was right. Kane's gaze softens. That is why it mattered. For a moment, the room is still. Then Evelyn forces herself back to the board and pins another photo under a red line. Eric's last remaining ally. A board member with a gambling habit and a quiet fear of exposure. She looks at Kane. Tomorrow, I take his vote. Kane nods. Tomorrow, I make sure you walk out alive. Evelyn hates that the promise makes her chest feel warmer. She tells herself it is strategy. She is not sure she believes it. Eric's last gamble goes public. He launches a shiny new fund, waving charts and promising miracles. The stolen model is his proof. He brags about a pipeline that does not exist. Evelyn watches, then triggers the collapse. A filing drops. The target company is under investigation. Partners vanish. The valuation craters. Eric's fund implodes in front of cameras. He does not come for her with words anymore. A blocked number calls. A man says, "Your friend Lucy Bennett is with us." A video arrives. Lucy is tied to a chair in a dim warehouse, bruised but awake. Do not give them anything. Lucy says in the clip. Evelyn, do not you dare. Evelyn calls Kane. They took Lucy. Kane's voice turns cold. We will find her. Do not negotiate alone. I will negotiate with a plan. Evelyn replies. They trace the signal, coordinate with a detective and federal agents already watching Eric for fraud. Evelyn prepares a false transfer, a honeypot that leads to an arrest, not a payout. By nightfall, they have the location. An abandoned warehouse on the west side. Kane hands Evelyn an earpiece. Stay behind me. Listen. Evelyn nods. I execute. The power cuts. Darkness swallows the building. A shout echoes. Footsteps scrape concrete. Eric appears in a swinging flashlight beam, charm stripped away, eyes wild. Claire stands behind him, shaking. You ruined everything. Eric spits at Evelyn. You ruined yourself. Evelyn says. Eric drags Lucy forward, a knife to her throat. Give me the codes, now. Evelyn lifts her hands. Okay, let her go first. Eric laughs. After you humiliated me. Evelyn's voice turns colder. Prove you are not a coward. Release her and you get what you want. Keep her and I burn it all. Pride hooks him. He loosens his hold to shift the blade. Cain moves. He slams Eric's arm, knocks the knife away, and shoves Lucy back toward Evelyn. At the same moment, agents storm in, lights and shouting. Federal agents, drop your weapons. Eric tries to run. He is tackled and cuffed. Claire collapses, sobbing about how she was forced. Evelyn catches Lucy, unties her hands, and pulls her close. Lucy shakes. You came. Evelyn's voice cracks. Always. As Eric is dragged past, he spits. You will die alone. Evelyn wipes blood from Lucy's cheek. I already died once. This time I live. Outside, dawn pales the sky. Cain watches Evelyn like he is seeing her clearly. You were ready to burn your fortune to save her. He says. Money can be replaced. Evelyn replies. People cannot. Cain nods, slow. That is why you will win. Evelyn realizes the revenge is almost done. Love is the last risk left on the table. The arrest does not end the story. It shifts it. Eric's lawyer calls Evelyn twice, offering settlement. Claire's lawyer sends an apology letter full of empty words. Evelyn reads none of it. She spends 2 days at Lucy's apartment, making soup, changing bandages, refusing to leave her friend alone. Lucy tries to joke through the pain. You are not allowed to date the scary man. Lucy says, voice hoarse. He looks like he bites. Evelyn almost smiles. He does bite. Lucy lifts a brow. So you like that? Evelyn rolls her eyes, but her cheeks warm. Focus on healing. On the 3rd day, Evelyn returns to her office and finds a bouquet on her desk, simple white flowers, no card. Her assistant whispers. A delivery from Mr. Rossi. Evelyn stares at the flowers longer than she should. That night, Cain picks her up for a meeting with federal prosecutors. He does not touch her, but his presence fills the car like a shield. You did well in the warehouse. He says. Evelyn keeps her gaze on the street. It was not bravery, it was necessity. Cain replies. That is what bravery usually is. At the prosecutor's office, Evelyn hands over everything. Recordings. Transfers. The bait file. The proof of coercion. The murder trail tied to her parents. The prosecutor looks at her, stunned. You built this case like a banker builds a merger. Evelyn answers. I built it like a survivor builds a door. When they leave, Cain walks beside her in the night air. For a moment, the city is quiet enough that Evelyn hears her own heartbeat. After this, Cain says, what will you do? Evelyn answers without thinking. I will rebuild. I will make Thorn Capital mine again. I will stop living like I am waiting to be pushed. Cain slows. And us. Evelyn's throat tightens. She does not answer. Cain does not press, but his silence is heavy. Half a block later, Evelyn forces herself to speak. This is hard for me. She says. Not the court, not the numbers, the part where someone could matter. Cain looks at her, expression unreadable. I know. Evelyn swallows. If you want easy, you chose the wrong woman. Cain's mouth tilts. I do not want easy. The words land in her chest and stay there. Eric goes to jail, but Redwood Capital does not forget the knife they lost. A short attack hits Thorn Capital, then a run on credit lines. Smears spread. Lenders hesitate. The assault is clean, surgical, designed to break Evelyn without touching her directly. Evelyn does not break. She calls lenders first. She shifts exposure. She closes positions that would have been her pride in another life, because pride is expensive and survival is priceless. Cain walks into the war room, sleeves rolled, eyes cold. They are forcing a liquidity crisis. I know. Evelyn says. I am handling it. I can hit them back. Cain says. Evelyn meets his gaze. Do not burn yourself for me. Cain steps closer. I am not burning. I am choosing. They fight with pressure and exposure, not chaos. Evelyn brings in rivals who hate Redwood more than they hate her. Cain leaks Redwood memos to regulators. The heat rises. Redwood tries to punish Cain for standing beside her. A forced sale threat hits one of his holdings, designed to make him choose between his empire and Evelyn. Kane reads the alert, face unreadable. Evelyn feels guilt like a blade. They are doing this because of me. Kane meets her eyes. They are doing it because I let them think I am vulnerable. He pauses, then says the words that shake her walls. I love you. Kane says. Not as a contract, not as a debt, as a choice. Evelyn's throat tightens. Do not say that. I will keep saying it until you believe you deserve it. Kane replies. Evelyn whispers. I am afraid. Kane nods. So am I. That honesty breaks something open. Okay. Evelyn says, voice firm again. We end Redwood together, but I will not hide behind you. Kane's mouth lifts, brief and rare. Good. By morning, Evelyn releases audited proof of stability with new credit commitments. Regulators announce a review of Redwood practices based on leaked memos. Redwood's attack backfires. Partners flee. The short position collapses under its own weight. When the dust settles, Evelyn stands on the same terrace where she fell in her first life. The sky is clear. The city is bright and indifferent. Kane stands beside her, hands in his pockets, when tugging at his hair. I used to think this place owned me. Evelyn says. And now? Kane asks. Now it is just a building. Evelyn replies. The past does not get to write my ending. Kane watches her. Then write it. Evelyn turns to him. Her voice is quiet, but it does not shake. I love you too. She says. Love is still a risk. But it is not a trap, it is a choice. Kane takes her hand, slow, giving her room to pull away. She does not. Below them, the city keeps moving. Above them, the sky holds no ghosts. Evelyn turns away from the edge and walks with Kane back into the building, back into a future she chose. And the trials move like slow machinery, but Evelyn keeps winning in faster places. She holds an investor call and answers every question without flinching. She presents a new governance package, forcing transparency that her father always wanted but never pushed through. She replaces the last board member tied to Eric and makes the vote unanimous. The market responds. Thorn Capital stabilizes. Then it grows. A month later, the judge formally accepts evidence tying Claire's mother to the sabotage firm. Charges widen. The case becomes a national headline again. Evelyn is interviewed outside the courthouse. A reporter asks, do you feel satisfied? Evelyn answers, I feel awake. That night, she and Kane sit on her apartment floor, paperwork scattered, takeout containers empty. It is the first time they have looked tired in the same room. Kane breaks the silence. You keep saying self-help like it is a rule. It is. Evelyn replies. If I make you my crutch, they will kick you out from under me. Kane nods once. Then do not make me a crutch, make me a partner. Evelyn looks at him. Partners can leave. Kane's eyes are steady. So can you. The truth is simple and cruel. Everyone can leave. The only question is who chooses to stay. Evelyn exhales. I do not know how to be loved without waiting for betrayal. Kane reaches for her hand, slow. Then we learn, one day at a time. Evelyn's eyes sting. She hates that tears still exist in her. She hates that he makes room for them. She whispers, if this goes wrong, I will survive it. Kane squeezes her fingers. That is why I can love you. You will not disappear if I fail. Evelyn looks down at their hands, the way their fingers fit. It feels like a promise written without ink. Later, when the city sleeps, Evelyn stands at the terrace door and watches the quiet skyline. Kane comes up behind her. You are thinking about the fall. He says. Evelyn nods. I keep expecting it to pull me back. Kane rests his forehead against her hair, gentle. It cannot. You already walked away. Evelyn closes her eyes, then opens them. Tomorrow. She says. I want to visit my parents. Kane's voice is soft. I will come with you. Evelyn turns and for the first time, she does not argue. Okay. In the morning, they drive out of the city. Evelyn brings flowers, simple and white. She kneels at the grave and speaks the words she never said in her first life. I am sorry I was late. She whispers. I am here now. I am living. Kane stands a respectful distance away, silent, steady. When Evelyn rises, she looks back toward the city, the place that tried to swallow her. She takes Kane's hand and does not let go.
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.